as the Eagles-Bucks game is coming up in just about 12 hours. We're going to take a look around the NFL landscape, see what happened on Monday for me, and look at rush hour. By that I mean Jalen. Kata. What's up, it's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another analysis video. Nigga, kid you not, that's my real name. So we just closed out, well, I want to say Super Bowl Sunday, just the alliteration. But this past Sunday of football, and man, some interesting things happened. We'll get to that later. You know what I'm talking about. But first, this game will be in our Week 5 schedule, or I should say that its opponent. The LA Rams are taking a trip out to the West Coast, Cali, baby. And we'll be playing them in their stadium, which is kind of like a neutral stadium because it might be more Eagles fans in attendance than anything. So the Giants got crushed by the 49ers. No surprise there. The Colts come out and shock the Baltimore Ravens. They fumbled the ball on offense, and Lamar Jackson was just not sharp. The Cleveland Browns come out and crush Tennessee Titans. The Atlanta Falcons lose to the Detroit Lions. Detroit comes out and figures out how to close out a game. That being said, Atlanta, their quarterback did not look good. Desmond Ridder, he was the reason why they lost today. Just couldn't get the ball to their playmakers, and showed his inexperience and why it was a risk to gamble on just going with him this year. Him being a first-year starter, even though he's a second-year guy. So I mean, if he doesn't, lead them out of that hole. Man, I mean, it might just be a sign of things to come, or, it could be just a speed bump. But, man, it wasn't a good day for them. Green Bay Packers, they outlast the New Orleans Saints, who dealt with the injury to their starting quarterback, Derek Carr. So, he has a sprained AC joint. See how that affects them going forward. Houston came out and trounced Jacksonville, who just couldn't get in rhythm. I didn't know that C.J. Stroud has yet to throw an interception, so good on him. Man, this was historically bad, almost. Could have been record bad, but the first team to score 70 points in the last 30 years, since I think like 66, it was pretty bad. The Miami Dolphins, they had put up 3 points, would have set a new record for points scored in a game, but Denver Broncos couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop a sneeze with a thick Kleenex tissue. Man, they just went off. A-Chain had 200 yards rushing with 11.25 average. He scored four touchdowns, two to the ground, two to the air. Raheem Mostert scored 4 touchdowns, 3 to the on the ground, 1 through the air. And Tariq, he just went on for $150 on like 10 catches. I mean, just they had no answer for him. And it's actually kind of close. Denver just didn't have the weaponry to keep up, but man, it was an exciting match. The Chargers and Minnesota Vikings. Vikings fall into an 0-3 hole. Hey, man, Justin Jefferson, Jay Jetter got his numbers. I think like 10 or 9 for $150 or so. And then, they just fall. But Keenan Allen outshined him. He had 18. Definitely a game high this season so far for 215. I think a TD or 2. And he was just balling. Justin Herbert, they're loving the O coordinator that they brought over from, guess where? Dallas. So we'll get to them in a little bit. KC is going to be, I think, a week 7, 8, or 9 opponent. We'll get to them later, but blew out the Bears. Bears look bad. Nothing surprising there. Seattle, ground game, keyed them. When they're faltering on offense, look good. Washington looks bad. Another quarterback, man, that is looking shaky. That shouldn't be starting. And man, they have a guy waiting in the wings in Jacoby. Brissett. But they're trying to, live and die with the young gun, Sam Herbert. He was 3-0 coming in today, and game started. He won his first in Week 18 last year, in the first 2 games this year, but looked bad. He threw 4 freaking picks. It was terrible. Man. But, hey, that's what you get, the highs and the lows with pretty much starting a rookie quarterback. He's another second-year guy like Desmond Ridder, and those two, were touted as guys that look better than we thought in the early weeks, but it's the early part of the season. We don't know who are pretenders and contenders right about now. Even though we can go off what we saw last year, but did not look good. They were just overwhelmed. And, Buffalo is scheduled to be a playoff opponent. Repeat that performance from last year, but they just couldn't get anything going. They were just trounced. 4 picks. Man, terrible. Zach Wilson, too. He's our week 6 opponent. He didn't look good. I hope they keep him in there, though. Keep fighting, Zach, so we can go up against you in week 6. And, yeah, it's time. Almost. Pittsburgh, they had a long-distance play, guy who runs a 4.32, buck 70 at receiver, second-year guy. Came down with it and really sparked them to victory there. Didn't do so much, but they did enough. But man. The Dallas Cowboys falling to the Arizona Cardinals in the desert, man. It was just bad. Dak said, "Hey, you guys put a lot of, you guys are touting us as the top team, right? No, who cares, Dak? That's outside the building. Worry about what's going on inside the building." He threw a red zone pick, and it was just glorious. I was like, Dak, he's back. Man, the level of the ineptness was glorious. Pollard went off. He had a 120 or so, good, I think 5-yard or so clip rate, but they just couldn't. Worries from the offseason carried over into this. The O coordinator, who's with the Chargers now, Herbert, went off today. Shout out to him. But he had a good red zone offense. They had about 85% success rate, conversion rate down there, and Mike McCarthy showing that he just can't get it done. The play calling wasn't creative enough. He did the red zone again. They struggled in the Jets game. We were like, you chalked it up to it being a good defense, but here it was that. They just were against the Cardinals. The Cardinals. Budda Baker wasn't playing. And we obviously know their starting quarterback wasn't playing as well. And, Kyler Murray, he's out. So, they were 1 for 5, which is just not going to get it done in the red zone. So, what do you want me to tell you? Like, they should have kept Kellen Moore, creative play calling that he had going, and it just, the lack of him being out there on the sidelines really showed another weakness of Dallas, and another one being that that defense. When you run at Michael Parsons, we showed him the blueprint last year. Ran at him, took him out of the game effectively. They did some option stuff, making him think there in the field, pausing him. He was running past, missing tackles, running past the quarterback. You can say sometimes not playing his responsibility, but he was ineffective. He had a sack, but it meant pretty much nothing. They took him out of this game and made him mortal again. Just showed the league again that, hey, we're doing you guys a favor. We're putting this on tape. And, they had no answer for the run game. They were just running it down their throats. They almost for, 8.5 a clip, 8.4, so 8.3, 8.2, something like that. Something ridiculous. So, they're good at getting after passer, but if you can't stop, one component of the game, the opponent is going to shift that to that strategy to beat you. And the last one being that their O-line, they are missing 3 starters today. That's a weakness going into the season. I think it might have been Bidaz and Tyron Smith and was it Steele or it was Zach Martin. They're up there in age. What do you expect? You're not going to get a season's worth of work from them. What can you depend on them for? A good number of starts, and Zach smartly got his money in the offseason because he knew that he's not long for he's on the back nine of his career. He's still a very good guy when he's healthy and on the field, but when he hasn't been both, and as of late for all 17 games, and that's going to be an issue going forward. So can they really trust that? And it's not even like they're already dealing with Diggs, the loss of him on defense. So Gilmore, he was getting cooked a little bit, and Brandon Cooks, he looked a little cooked. So it's gonna be interesting. everybody was touting them as the best team in the NFC East, and so forth and so on. But man, they got brought back down to earth today. But anyways, let's get to some Eagles news, man. That was good to see this week. The NFC East being the NFC East going 0-3 this week. Now we just need to win our game and we'll be atop the standings alone, by our lonesome. So we'll see if we can do it. So anyways, let's get into one of the keys, Jalen Carter, to beating the Bucks. Their guard that he's going to be starting against, starting opposite of Matt Failer, has a below 60 rating, and all three interior guys have below 60 rating. So outside of Tristan Wirfs, he's not a standout guy on that line, so we should be able to eat. And a big part of that is Jalen Carter bringing that pressure. He has 11 so far, 10 hurries, and a sack. So, I mean, he's well outdone himself. Well worth the draft pick at this point. And the other 8 or 9 teams that went before him, that picked before us, kicking themselves because generational talent here, and he's playing like it early on thus far. So you got to give the young dog his props. And not just that, he's outperforming a lot of veteran guys right now. I mean, these are early press clippings. He's not reading these. He's focused on the mission. I'm a fan. I can tout him all I want. I'm just saying that he's showing up early, and man, it really makes a difference. Jonathan Allen, 10 pressures on 74 snaps. Still only had 59 because we rotate, and that's a key, to our team. But also, we're playing the long game, trying to save these guys for the stretch run. Most likely, hopefully, if we make the playoffs. But these guys are playing high number of snaps, and that protracted over the season, it's going to be more wear and tear on them. They're going to be less effective in the later game. But Jeffrey Simmons as well, Titans star pass rusher, 9 pressures to 77. He's outperforming them, maybe due to him getting lower number of snaps. He's fresher. He's able to give more of himself, as well as look at this former Eagles barrier of quarterbacks, but light on the run defense. Javon Hargrave, who has 8 on 75 rushes. So again, the 49ers, using him at a high clip rate, they're star-studded, but the depth behind them, nothing like our team. So I like our chances, and I like our way we use them as well. All right, so obviously he has some pretty high company when it comes to pressures. The only guys who are outdoing him, Michael Parsons, who's a favorite to be Defensive Player of the Year, also had to put Aiden Hutchinson in that conversation the way he's playing, the former number 2 pick out of Michigan, and T.J. Watt, a former Defensive Player of the Year winner. So good company. And remember, these guys are all outside pass rushers. They're guys who, their specialty is, of course, setting the edge, but getting after the quarterback. That's their main job. But Jalen, he is in the middle. He's plugging. He's, opening up gaps for other guys, to flow to the football, unselfish football. But also, he can be a pass rusher. Better than I thought coming into the league, which has been a welcome surprise. All right, so we're going to look at one more thing, and we're going to get up out of here. So, yeah, he's hard to come by. D tackles, especially the ones that can collapse in pocket like that, are easier to find, or harder to find than edge rushers, which are also hard to find. All right, so we have some questions here. Can the Eagles' offense fly high? I definitely think we can. We have to figure out, the zone that, we're gonna be going up against, that Todd Bowles defense, how he's gonna attack. Devin White's gonna be a blitzer most likely. How to, fill the gap. I love the film looking at Jason Kelsey and Swift working in tandem. There's a twist on the inside, so I think it was a D tackle and maybe it was a linebacker, so the substitute guys in there, but they twisted, positions and to try and confuse the interior guys and get to the quarterback. And Kelsey started with his guy, and then he got a hand out there just to help Swift just enough. Just a little bit, and they were just in sync perfectly. It's turn up, yeah. But but just a beautiful play and just showed the idiosyncrasies of blocking, and Jeff Stanton broke it down beautifully. But we got to get these three guys going, and we have they have the talent, the requisite talent over the guys. We still don't know if Carlton Davis is going to play. He's a game time decision, so he's like 60-40 on whether he's going to play today. But I think we scheme things up, toward the attack that they're going to bring most likely out of that zone defense, and how they're going to play, the soft zone. We've had so many days, so there's no excuse. We're going to, it's time to put, things to the test. Do we make use of our time, or do we waste it? And, play calling is different, especially at this level. So, give Johnson some grace and let him settle into the role. Shane Steichen, we saw, the excellent play calling, that he was the difference. Especially with the level of talent he has around him, with the Colts being competitive and actually winning against the Ravens, who are a favorite to go to the playoffs this season. So will Baker continue his hot start? We hope not. He's going to try to make use of his weapons. Rachaad White, who's had maybe career game for him, 103 scrimmage yards on 22 touches. I think he had a 4.3 rushing average. How he uses Mike Evans as well as Chris Godwin, going to try to disrupt that. The Bucs QB has a 75% completion rate under pressure. So can we, get it to him? How are we gonna give it to him? We're gonna blitz, some, because Sean Desai has shown that he's not shy with bringing the pressure and just showing different looks. But how do we hold up in man coverage or in our zones against Mike Evans and Powell's? They have a tight end. I think that's a decent threat. Just at least he's slightly above average. But we're looking to crash those 3-0 hopes. And the Todd Bowles defense versus DeAndre Swift. So we're gonna ride the hot hand, but they're also pretty good. 54 yards allowed by the Bucs, us being the best in the league right now at 52 a clip. Per game. But I really want to see how we're gonna press the attack, and hope we definitely don't give up on the rushing attack too early. Stick with it. It'll pay dividends later, but these guys are liable, tend to be pass happy. But also how we use the backs out of the backfield, and aggregate an attack, multi-layered, to open up more of those soft spots in the defense. The weaknesses. Every defense has a weakness. We just have to find it. But anyways, we're gonna get up out of here today. I enjoyed the Cowboys losing. Oh man, it was glorious. But we got to go out here and get this dub. And I'm not gonna try to eat it like Jameis Winston, his dumb ass. Anyways, crab legs, Publix. We're gonna get up out of here. But you're not even watching them. But it's all good because I love making these videos and love talking about the Eagles. But as always, it's fly Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.